have you thought about, or have other people thought about encouraging innovation, not broadly, but specifically in biotech, and also I'm thinking like germline genetic engineering, quite frankly, as a matter of national competitiveness, because we see right now like AI is benefiting a lot because, or there's a lot of interest in AI among the government officials because it's viewed as a matter of national competitiveness,
Mhm.
specifically with China.
Yeah.
We do something similar for genetic engineering because it seems like in China they're going full speed ahead with,
Mhm.
using CRISPR in humans and such.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good approach. That's a very interesting approach from the competitive angle, because I've written a lot about competitiveness going back decades, not just in this area, but in other areas. I'm an internationalist in the sense that I believe in free trade and open discussion and that sort of thing. Um, but for example, China, I was one of the people. I was a good hardcore anti-communist, still am, and I was very happy in the late 70s when the Chinese decided to try a free market approach. They had probably killed 50 or 60 million of their own people, mainly many of them starving to death as well as murdered. It was just a horror show over there. And they decided after Mao Zedong fortunately died. By the way, Steven Pinker in this book says one of the best things that happened for China is Mao Zedong died. And I completely agree with that. Well, what happened after Mao Zedong died is Deng Xiaoping and some of the others said, we need to set up a system that allows innovation and so forth. And they did. And, while you still had to sort of don't get involved politically, because the communists still rule, they did allow that. And of course, you see what a success it has been. And I've always been look, I'd rather deal with successful countries and I'd rather see this kind of progress and so forth. But unfortunately, you all know what happened the last year or two, both not only with the way they mishandled COVID, but you see what's happening in Hong Kong. You see what's happening with throwing, dissidents into concentration camps and so forth. So now it does kind of become an issue of, okay, we would love to be partners and I'm all for that. But now there's kind of a competitiveness angle there that, we want to still be the ones, the United States and the West in general. We still want to be the dominant ones. And by the way, I think we would still be in any case because, what I'm worried about is that they're going to kill, their entrepreneurs if they keep this up too long. And they're going to kill the creativity in their own country. But I think it's I think it's an interesting approach. By the way, I did a piece some time ago because there was some kind of a cancer test in China that looked very, very promising. And there was a case, I think, I think it was an American who had to go to Canada to try to get this particular treatment or looking at it. And I wrote a piece about how the next congressman who gets this form of cancer might have to go to China to get treatment. And it was kind of a way of saying, do you want to fall behind the Chinese in this area? The
Yeah.
Japanese, by the way, the Japanese instituted for biologics this system. And I've got a paper on the Human Achievement Alliance website under the medical issue. I did a paper on that. So the Japanese already are doing this. Now it's limited for a number of reasons, but the thing is they've already adopted this idea of a parallel track. So, are the Japanese gonna, and one of the things I was gonna be looking at is how much investment is going into Japan and to Japanese companies because they have this opportunity. Now, Japan has a kind of a different culture than us, and they tend to be reluctant to be as viciously competitive, maybe as we do. They are more of a cooperative society. But in terms of Liz's question about financing, that's something I wanted to look at to see whether you see more of that sort of thing. But I think, Dan, you make a very good point about competitiveness. And if we want to be.
And I've also heard that it's something that's bipartisan now. So previously, the China hawks were all on the right.
Right.
They're going rah 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 against
Right.
communism and such. But now I've heard it's it's really a bipartisan consensus
Yeah.
that
Yeah. I mean,
we
no,
need to stand up for, democracy and prevent some of these abuses that China is doing around the world, building
Yes.
military bases on islands, all that stuff. The Uyghurs.